Hello everyone, this is Moses from Wilona's Cave, and we are going to continue the adventure of Hackleswell in the Misty Vale with Dragonbane. Let's begin. Okay, so a little recap of the travel that Hackleswell and his little genie that he acquired very recently have done. Hackleswell started at Outskirt, went to his friend's Olgrid's house, then got on this little boat, went up the river. Luckily, he took out a ghost in the ruined castle. We spent some time over here in the decrepit houses or cottage and the bridge. And then he ended up here. Let me show you what that looks like up close. So here's the water well right here that Hackleswell is sleeping right now. He took a sleeping poison, and the both of them are inside of Hackleswell's nightmare or dream. Most likely a nightmare. That's the way it's headed. So let's continue that nightmare right now. Okay, so where we left off was in the nightmare that Hackleswell and the genie decided together to walk into the opening. Before it was a white light. After they walked into it, the light became red and there was a little figure that showed up in the other room. And they noticed that the Hackleswell's daughter's voice started changing a bit. There was a little, inflection in it, or there was a different sound. It wasn't just the daughter any longer, or it wasn't the daughter any longer. They don't really know. Even I don't really know. But regardless, they walked in to the other room. Okay, now they are in the other room. There's an entrance, another entrance down the hall right there. But they're still hearing Hackleswell's daughter's voice and something a little different, a mixture of the two. And at this moment, the genie can notice that Hackleswell is becoming very frightened. This is probably the place where the nightmare gets so bad that Hackleswell wakes up, and that's why he has insomnia. That's why he has to take sleeping poisons now to go to sleep, which he has taken a sleeping poison to go to sleep in this scenario. I'm gonna do another spot hidden check just to see, we're in a new room, to see if, that's one of the main goals of the genie, is to see if he could notice something. Maybe he can see something that Hackleswell is not noticing. Let's check that out right now. I have everything as a 10 for him, the genie that is, so we're gonna do a D20 and see if we get a 10 or less. Let's see if he could notice anything. 15, again, not noticing anything. That's interesting. You know what, let me roll for Hackleswell, but I'm gonna do it at a Bane because Hackleswell right now is pretty frightened. So we're gonna roll at a Bane, that means take the highest number. So Hackleswell spot hidden. Let me get the character sheet. Come on. 14. Okay, so take the highest number. Hopefully it's a 14 or below. Here we go. Yep. So Hackleswell notices something. Interesting. Let's see what he notices. Okay, so shameless plug. This is it's not available yet. The book, that is, PDF it is. It's platinum right now, my solo RPG GME. Fantasy, there's also sci-fi, and I'm working on horror and cyberpunk at the moment. But I'm gonna use this instead of the solo rules that comes with Dragonbane, due to I've been noticing that it seems like those solo rules that come with Dragonbane is really for the solo adventure. Once I started going into the public or talking to people, it really shows that it can't really handle all that. So I'm going to be using my system. But the solo rules are amazing. It got us here, it got us this far, but it's time to use something that's a little more robust, like my system. Okay, let's take a look. I decided on using the verb and noun list for the oracle and random events. Let's see how that goes. Let's roll a D100 for the verb and a noun. So just to make it a little more simple, I'm gonna roll just for the noun. I wanna see what Hackleswell noticed. 4. And for 4 for a noun is a trap. So Hackleswell sees a trap. Interesting. So Hackleswell was about to begin walking more and more, and he stops. And the genie slowly follows. And the genie asks, because the genie failed the spot hidden check, genie asks Hackleswell, what do you see? What happened? And he points over in the dark, and he says, I see something. I'm not too sure what it is, but it doesn't look like it fits this scenario. It kind of looks like, you know, a mechanical, let's say. Something that resembles a trap. He notices a trap. It doesn't look like stone flooring and windows. Something's different in the dark. I can see it. So I'm going to use the trap type table in my system. So it's a D12. Let's see what we get. 11. And number 11 is illusionary trap. That's just fitting. That's perfect for the scenario, that is. Now I've been working on a monster and lore generator. The final proofreading is finished. It should be on drive-through pretty soon. It's however long they take to prove it. It is fantasy, sci-fi, and horror based. So it's 3 settings in one, or 3 genres in one. I'll show up the cover sheet, what it looks like right now on the screen. I'm gonna go to the horror. I think that the illusionary trap, because I've been saying that this is around the time where Hackleswell wakes up. I think that, and I hinted at that in the previous episode, that there's a little, it could be big, I don't know, but I just put a placeholder of a being or a monster in this room. And this is around the time where Hackleswell wakes up. So I'm assuming at this moment that illusionary trap is the monster, okay? And the illusion was that monster tried to act like the daughter to get Hackleswell over here to torture him or make him not sleep so he goes crazy, basically. So I'm gonna flip through, this is basically printed. I'm gonna flip through the horror section, not the fantasy, but the horror section of this book, of my book, and let's see what we can roll up on and see what kind of monster is tormenting poor Hackleswell here. So here's the horror monster creation system section. This is creation steps. We're gonna start with determine monster type, and I'll be right over here. So let's get a D20. 19. And that is a witch or warlock. So I'm gonna say a witch. Just perfect. So I begun writing the notes for the witch. So monster tables, always write dates on your notes. 1 witch. I'm just doing the optional roll or choose. It's gonna be a medium size. Let's see, number 3. Let's go to the next page. Monster appearance. A 1. Rotting flesh. Oh, no wonder he's getting scared. Let me write that down. So rotting flesh. Now let's roll for the monster abilities. 1 again. Possession. Is the witch? Well, it makes sense then. This is getting kind of morbid a little bit in my mind, but I think what's happening is Hackleswell, and I'm gonna find another one that matches these Dragonbane minis. I'm gonna put one over here that matches this so far. Hackleswell is seeing his daughter with rotting flesh that is being possessed by a witch. But it's not really his daughter, it's just a dream, but still, it is his daughter. That we know now because it's a possession. But it's possessed by a witch. That must be so frightful to have nightmares like this every night. Okay, let me set that up. So the only thing I could really find is a Medusa that kind of matches a little bit. So imagine his Hackleswell's daughter, rotting flesh, possessed by a witch. So I'm assuming that there's a curse on Hackleswell that a witch put on him, on his past adventures or when he was a soldier, etc. I don't know. But something happened that a witch put a curse on him, that he has nightmares like this every night, where he sees his daughter, rotting flesh, possessed by a witch. And now the genie also sees his daughter as well. So the genie sees his daughter now. Maybe Hackleswell can only see it in the dark far away, and then the daughter is slowly walking up to them, closer and closer and closer, like even closer than she was. So now I'm curious. I don't want to roll on a weakness, monster weakness. That gives it away a bit right now. I want to roll on behavior. I want to see how this monster behaves. So it's a D10. Let's see what happens. 8. And an 8 is manipulator. So just these dice rolls are perfect for this scenario. So his daughter walks up to Hackleswell and calls out to him saying, "Father, how come you left me, Father? Why did you leave me? I loved you. I still love you." And Hackleswell's starting to hyperventilate, and the genie's noticing everything is like, this is getting really intense. And the daughter gets closer and closer and closer, and Hackleswell is about to, I guess, pass out in his nightmare and hence wake up. Can the genie do something right now to interfere with this? While this, his daughter's getting closer, crying out to his father, "Why did you leave me? Why? Why did you leave me? I trusted you," etc., etc. I'm not too sure on the backstory between Hackleswell and his daughter. I'm just throwing that in there now because that seems like the most horrifying thing to hear from a father, in a father's perspective. Let's see what the genie can do, if he could do anything. So I'm also making a Dragonbane supplement, my first one. It's going to have a lot of things in it, including 100 spells that I've been working on. Dragonbane's about a year old. About a week ago it was a year old. So congratulations, Free League and Dragonbane. But since then I've been working on spells and 10 different schools of magic. And it's going to have more stuff in here. There's going to be more professions: a vampire slayer, gold prospector, panning for gold, etc., etc. There's going to be more stuff in there, and one of them is, and I'm still working on it. Let me put this away. One of them is a genie aid, so you can play as a genie or have a genie. So I'm not fully complete with this yet. It's just you can see what it is. I think I have it downloadable in another video, but there's not much to it yet. But when I was reading it, what I can do is wish. Instead of just doing wishbound and all these traits and heroic abilities, I can try to have the genie call out to Hackleswell, because he's shaking, shivering, crying, everything. Call out to Hackleswell to say, make a wish to find out what weakness the monster has, so the genie can find out. And then I'm gonna have Hackleswell roll on awareness, which he has, let me see, 14. So, but I'm gonna roll because it's so bad right now, and Hackleswell is really not there mentally, just really scared and frightened. I'm gonna have him roll a Bane. So 2d20, take the highest. Hopefully the highest is 14 or less. So let's see what we can do. 2d20, take the highest. 14 on the money. So Hackleswell does hear him. And so he does hear him. The genie's like, "Oh good," he's snapping his fingers. He's like, "Oh good, you hear me. Make a wish so I can detect what type of weakness this monster has." I don't know if the genie can tell you what wish to make, but he's encouraging him, he's helping him. So Hackleswell says, basically just shivering, "I'd like to make a wish to know what weakness this monster has." And the genie grants that wish, and there's no rolling on that. We just roll on the random table to figure out what weakness the monster has. So it's a D12 for monster weakness. Let's see what we get. A 9, which is a mirror. So at this moment, the genie makes a mirror appear, and this monster starts screaming, backing up, going more and more to the dark. Did it get injured? I don't think so. It maybe could have, but it's not the goal. What happened is that this monster went away farther and farther and turned into his daughter. Let's change that out here. His daughter's laying on the ground. That's really a halfling or a dwarf. I'm not too sure. I think it's a halfling, but regardless, just imagine it's a mallard. So what the weakness of a mirror is that I'm assuming that the witch that's possessing the daughter, Hackleswell's daughter in the nightmare, once it sees itself in a mirror, it, I guess, scares itself, let's say, and the possession, as you remember, the possession goes away, and what remains is, in pure form, whatever was possessed, which is his daughter. And now his daughter calls out to his father, Daddy, is that you? I'm so scared. And this is interesting, and I didn't think I don't know. I didn't think any of this would happen this way. I honestly thought that the daughter would not even be in this dream. It's just going to be daughter was possessed or had it was a fake. It was just a monster with the daughter's voice. But this is an actual daughter because it was a possession. His actual daughter is in his dream. So Hackleswell sees that, wipes his tears away. The genie is actually really surprised as well. Hackleswell goes closer, so does the genie, but a little farther away. The daughter calls out she's laying on the ground, that's why I didn't put a stand for her. The daughter is laying on the ground and saying, I'm so scared, I've been in here forever. It felt like years. And her father is confused. He's not too sure what's going on here. I am confused as well as the player. I have no idea what's going on. So she said it felt like years. Let's see how many years her daughter or his daughter unfortunately passed away. Let's see, I'm gonna roll a d6. Let's see what we get. 5 years, oh, this has been a while. So, and Hackleswell looks at his daughter and says, I can't believe it's you. Have you been in my head, my mind, my dreams this long? It's been 5 years since I've lost you. The daughter slowly starts getting quieter because he's coming out of his dream now. Not as a nightmare or panicking, it's just, the sleeping poison starting to wear off. And the reason why I'm doing that is because I gotta think about this a little bit. There's a lot going on. I'm not too sure. I'm doing everything on the fly. I don't know where else to take this at the very moment. And it does seem like a good point to have Hackleswell slowly wake up because the genie helped cure the insomnia for the time being. Hopefully Hackleswell can remember or hold a mirror when he goes to sleep. Maybe he could bring a mirror with him or find a mirror, I don't know. But now the Hackleswell knows the weakness of that monster. So he feels a little more power over his own well-being, his own sleeping habits. But slowly, the daughter's voice gets less and less, but she's still calling out to him, Father, don't leave me. Don't leave me, I'm scared. Goes away, and he's calling out to his daughter, which I have not named yet. Calling out to him and calling out to her, and slowly they wake up, or he wakes up. So now Hackleswell slowly woke up, and now they're back at the well on the map. If I was Hackleswell, I would start to cry. So Hackleswell starts crying. Hackleswell has a little bit of a pep to him because they had a good night's sleep or a good day's sleep. I'm gonna put the time going towards night now. I'll write that in the notes, even though it looks daytime here, but regardless. But he slept well due to the genie being here, I'm not going to roll a random encounter because that's what I had him have, is that he either had a random encounter or he's going to get a condition due to the sleeping poison. But because it went so well, his nightmare went so well, and he found out how to take away or cast away or frighten basically the monster, the creature that's in his mind or possessing him or cursed him with, the witch that cursed him. He feels a lot of vigor, vitality. He feels better. And maybe I'll play into that later on. Maybe he has some kind of boon to something for today or for the next episode. But yeah, so it's been a while since I got back into this, and I'm gonna keep going with this more and more now that I have done a lot more other projects and finished them. My monster and lore generator will be done soon. Fantasy and sci-fi is up. This is platinum. The sci-fi just got Electrum. I have the Dragonbane supplement I'm still working on, and there's a lot more in the works. A lot more in the works of products that I'm making. And I thank all of you for the support. Hackleswell lost his daughter 5 years ago, huh? And still not sleeping well ever since then. How did he lose her? Have no idea. So they're rather close to the waterfall. I'll put something on the screen right now because I don't want to bring out the maps all the way over there. They're pretty close. So this journey is, in terms of distance, this journey is hopefully coming to a happy ending, or to a good ending at least. I don't think he'll ever be happy. Like happy as in having his daughter back. Happy. Let's see how this goes. Gonna try to get to that waterfall as fast as possible. Try to get that wooden sunflower with him, take it with him, and go to that waterfall that him and his daughter always wanted to go together. Happy gaming, everybody. Bye.